Hello, political napalm folks. It is me back to talk about some rightoid propaganda that is in full force currently, and it is beginning to get out of hand. It's been about a month since the last video. I have a feeling as this election cycle begins to ramp up, the desire to do these videos is going to be increasing. Frequency and speed should hopefully get back to where they were, mostly because we are seeing abject craziness occurring within rightoid media, and it needs to be tackled and it needs to be talked about, as some of these are, of course, damaging and dangerous to all folks who read it, because some of this is just complete clown show level stuff. So first, a little nod over towards Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, some of our favorite people to talk about over here. Traitory Taylor Greene over here is saying that God is sending America strong signs to tell us to repent. We've had an earthquake and an eclipse is coming up, and many more things are to come. I pray that our country listens. Okay, folks, we don't have locusts going on. Nothing is raining frogs. The eclipse is about to come soon. The earthquake was relatively minor. Now, granted, it was in an area of the country that typically does not have earthquakes. It was in the Northeast. It was about a 5.5. But I have seen on some rightoid pages, specifically Jovan Hutton Pulitzer's, aka Jeff Filia, I noticed over on his page some people were commenting that, like, oh, I've never heard of earthquakes in the East until recently. What is going on here? I would like to remind people that in the late 80s, early 90s, there was in fact a earthquake that hit Long Island. I remember it extremely clearly because I slept through it, and I happened to talk to my friend about it later that day in which it had happened. It was one of those that happened overnight. I mean, like I said, it was during a sleep period for me, and I was talking to a good friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, you didn't feel that?" I woke up for it. I was like, "Nope," had no idea that it happened whatsoever. Now, for me, my bedroom was on the second floor of a house. My friend lived in a ranch that had been updated to put a second floor, and his parents had slept up there, but he was a ground floor person. We both had basements. Basements are pretty common on Long Island. You don't get them too much in the South, but up there with the water table being and the aquifers and everything, basements are super common on Long Island. So him being on the ground floor, he might have had a little bit of a different experience. But definitely that was junior high school age-ish for me over there. Remember that one. And then there was one in the early 2000s that covered West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina. And I remember that one because I have a friend who lives in West Virginia, and he happened to immediately message me right after it happened. He was like, "Oh, dude, that was crazy." I said, "I know." And he went, "What do you mean you know? You felt it down there too?" I was like, "Yeah, I felt it down here too." Very weird experience. It's very disorienting to go through a earthquake because it's you sort of feel like you're on a ride and you want to be able to get off of it, except you can't because everything is the ride around you. The vibration, the disorientation, even for that small of an earthquake, it was weird. Fortunately, extremely short-lived, so I can't imagine how the West Coast of the United States deals with this, and California, and seeing earthquakes strong enough to warp bridges and make them look like somebody who's working out with ropes. And of course, the other one that we had just recently in the Pacific Rim, seeing how crazy that one was. But earthquakes are uncommon along the eastern seaboard, especially in the northeastern seaboard. but they do happen. And to people like, oh, I've never heard of this until recently, then they're not quite aware of what has happened, even in just my lifetime, being on the eastern seaboard when it comes to earthquakes. So this is no biblical thing here. I'm not about ready to take blood and start painting it on my front door over here. That's for sure. The spin machine is out again, and they are rehashing topics that have been hashed before. And if you do happen to be a right-winger, if you do happen to be a conservative, if you happen to even be what I would consider a rightoid, you need to ask yourself one question. And no, not do you feel lucky, huh? Do you, punk? The question you need to ask is, why do these people continue to insult your intelligence this way? The stuff that is going on now is just recycled stuff from 2020. They're literally doing it again, except for one major topic, which we'll get into in just a few moments. But they're literally taking 2020 and 2021 topics and recycling them and shoveling them to you again, hoping that you don't remember the first time you went through this. Also hoping that you are not savvy enough, and I'm sorry to say, not intelligent enough to go do your own research and fact checking on these things. And it literally takes no more than 10 seconds to debunk the majority of the things that we are seeing right now. 2,000 Mules is being trafficked again. 2,000 Mules is a joke of a movie. It has been shredded top to bottom. If you don't know about it, True the Vote, the organization behind 2,000 Mules, has gone to court and said, nope, we do not have the evidence to prove the things that we have been saying. And the court's like, okay, you guys are liars, and just threw them out. There is a actual legal case against True the Vote at this point in time. There is a man suing Dinesh D'Felon, as I like to call him, for defamation. Andrews, this guy was one of the people featured in the 2,000 Mules footage. He was recognizable despite the quote-unquote blurring, and he's suing him for defamation, and he's winning because he was not a mule. Dinesh has had to retract his book and reprint it because in the original printing of the book, he said slanderous things that were going to get him in trouble, so he had to reprint the book to take them out. However, he has continued to push many of the lies that were in 2,000 Mules. For example, an actor by the name of Jacob Hyman recreates a whole bunch of scenes in the movie. If you go on IMDb or any place that tracks movies, you will see there is an acting credit. His name is Jacob Hyman. Any of the video footage that is shot supposedly like in the dark and follows the person, he's the actor. He's acting out being a mule. You're not actually seeing a real scene. Also, what they did in the movie was they darkened several daytime scenes to make it seem at night, to make it seem more nefarious, because who goes up to a mailbox or who goes up to a drop box at what looks like 1 o'clock in the morning? It's not. It's daytime that has been darkened. People have proven this. The lies about the Yuma lady mule, quote unquote, that was a lie there. She was already well under investigation. 2,000 Mules did not contribute. Solving the murder, subject already in custody, did not help there. And the FBI and the GBI said, no, we never got your cell phone data. You claim to have given us data. No, you haven't. Plus, somebody was already in custody by the date that you claimed you had given us the supposed data. The ACLED data stuff, where ACLED has screamed angrily at the top of their lungs, you cannot use our data to support your claims. We don't track the things that you said our data tracks. Therefore, you are lying about the usage of the ACLED data. I mean, the list goes on and on. They show a map of Gwinnett County. It's actually a map of Russia. You can see that yourself. You can just go on Google Maps, look at Russia, and you will see the same river hump in the south of Moscow is what's on the screen when they said this is a map of Gwinnett County. Gwinnett County looks nothing like what's on the screen. They use stock footage. The blips on the screen don't actually correspond to any quote-unquote track data. It's 2,000 Mules is a nightmare. It's debunked. It's been shredded. And there's still people talking about it even after the court case, even after the Andrews court case. The one that's been making the rounds now among the rightoids, again, is this guy, Jesse Morgan, the guy who claimed to have gaylords of ballots that he took out of Bethpage, New York, and drove to the capital of Pennsylvania, and then drove into Lancaster. So to give a little bit of context over here, Bethpage, New York is fairly close to the Nassau-Suffolk border here on Long Island. I've been to Bethpage Park as a kid many, many times growing up. Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania. This is the area around where Hershey Park is. And Lancaster, Pennsylvania is known as Hex Country or Amish Country, Pennsylvania. Extremely odd route. However, ballots do cross state lines at times. So proud Army brat, this little maggot over here, is somebody who likes to elevate these types of stories and constantly post stuff like this to, their followers and everything. I mean, look at the reach this idiot has. Almost 400K followers. However, again, there is court documentation on this guy. You can go to this site, oversight.gov, and see this PDF yourself, which was a joint multi-point investigation into this dude's claims, and they were lies. First of all, Jesse Morgan is a total whack job, abusive to his wife, and there is a record of that. Likes to film ghost videos in his basement. And I mean, we are talking the 1980s National Enquirer stuff, the I've seen Bigfoot, I've been probed by aliens level stuff. If you see the videos that Jesse's filmed, you can clearly see it is not a ghost, it is somebody acting it out. This guy is not right by any stretch. But rather than shoot the person involved as a form of shooting the messenger, this document, which is available and is the complete and total investigation of it, says that, and we can picture that this redaction over here is Jesse, and then the rest of these pertain to his trailer. So where you see the B7C, that's Jesse. Jesse stated he utilized trailer something on October 21st, 2020, but was unable to locate it the next day when he reported to work at Lancaster. In Jesse's sworn affidavit, he claims he used trailer ID, such and such, from the end of September to the end of October 21st, and he preferred that trailer. So you're getting the idea here that this is sort of like his work vehicle. This is the one he prefers to use. He always tries to hitch to it. He gets it nearly 100% of the time. Additionally, Jesse and media reports indicated that his trailer transported approximately 250 to 300K ballots across state lines to Pennsylvania, exclusively utilizing that trailer ID that he prefers. However, in Jesse's sworn affidavit, he stated there could have been 250 to 7,500 ballots on the trailer located within the Gaylords. That is a huge swing. 250 pieces of paper or 7.5K pieces of paper. I mean, seriously. A joint investigation between the USPS and the Office of the Inspector General, OIG, and the United States Postal Inspection Service, the USPS, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations conducted over 20 witness interviews and reviewed the transportation databases, which revealed Jesse used approximately 6 different trailers in the month of October 2020 alone. And then there's an exhibit. on October 21st, Jesse actually used trailer ID, not the one he claimed. Trailer ID such and such is the trailer alleged to have disappeared. Jesse subsequently used trailer, a different one, with no incident. So this guy has been shredded. Just like 2000 Mules, debunked, ripped to pieces, shredded, and there is video footage and eyewitness statements that says he didn't use the trailer that he claimed, and the trailer never went missing. So this investigation wrapped up years ago. And it pertains to something that happened in 2020, and multiple people, including Proud Army Maggot, are re-elevating this claim, and they're also attaching to this claim, and I've seen this on other threads on Twitter today, that Bill Barr was in on it, tried to shut people up. And then she says, but Morgan was vindicated. No, you don't prove that Morgan was vindicated, number one, and it's literally in reality the exact opposite. Yes, there is footage of Bill Barr telling people, like, this isn't how you think it is, and we need to stop investigating it, because he knew it was stupid. He knew it was conspiracy level. And once you started digging further and further into Jesse, who he was in his past, you were going to realize the guy is a clown show. So, yeah, there's that one. Now we are retouching upon, apparently, the Ashley Biden diary. And this one is making the rounds again. And remember how I said a little bit ago, there was one major story that people aren't bringing back up, and it's a bit surprising. And that's the Hunter Biden laptop, because it's been in the news recently. With Hunter being subpoenaed and going before Congress and answering the questions, they know they can't recycle that story again because it's too fresh and too active. So they're going back to the Ashley Biden story and everything that happened over there. First, Jack Proboscis, my little nickname for him over there, not Proboscis, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. O'Keefe claimed that somebody found it in a hotel, and that's how he got it. Meanwhile, it was actually somebody who had stayed somewhere that Ashley was. She is the person who said, I stole the diary. Well, that person has missed 11 court dates. So now they're basically saying there is a warrant out for her. And harsher prison time because she keeps missing these court dates. So we still don't truly know the truth about Ashley Biden's diary. However, all the claims to publish it and everything like that, they keep getting struck down because you can't do that with stolen goods. It's very, very similar to Hunter Biden's laptop. It is fruit from the poisonous tree. When you obtain something illegally or through illicit means, it can't go to court. It's fruit of the poisonous tree. If you know your neighbor deliberately gave chocolate to your dog and your dog was harmed, and you break into their house when they're not there to find their Ring camera footage or something proving that they're throwing Hershey's over the fence or something, you can't submit that in court. You obtained that proof illegally. You broke in. You are now could be arrested, could be thrown in jail. And if that's how you get the data, the video footage, the proof, all of that, you can't use that in court. It doesn't work that way. The same thing is the deal with Hunter Biden's laptop and the deal with the diary. Also, this infamous page with the shower stuff and everything. Nobody has ever proved that that actually came from the diary because nobody has it and nobody's seen it. None of the authenticity of this situation has ever been proven. And as you can see, Ashley is still close with Joe Biden and has spoken out vehemently on this in the past and said, this did not happen. I am close with my father. I was never assaulted by him or abused or any of that kind of stuff. She's very angry at these accusations and is still close with her father. And we also don't know if it is true what is in that diary about that. We don't know the context of the showers. Could be 2, could be 3. I mean, I can remember visiting the beach with my mother when I was in single digits, like, 4 or 5 years old, and going into the ladies' room with her so that we could go to the bathroom together before leaving, the beach area and like that. And that wasn't unusual by any stretch. It was safety. So yeah, the Ashley Biden story is making the rounds again because they can't do the Hunter one, and nobody has any real dirt on Joe, despite the fact that they have all these hearings and everything. They can't actually dig anything up on him because he doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't do the things that they claim he's doing. And so, of course, they're going to try to recycle one that hasn't been resolved yet. But when they get a hold of this lady, we're going to have some resolution here. So hold your horses on this one and don't believe what you're hearing about the diary until Amy Harris actually goes to court and starts talking. And the longer she dodges things, and this is on purpose and important, the longer they can run this story out. They get Hunter Biden in front of a group of people, and all of a sudden the story starts to fall apart really quickly. That's why you can't use it, and that's why they're not. Dinesh D'Felon over here and other people have been keying off on a tweet from Harrison Floyd saying Fani Willis needs to recuse herself or she's going to face jail time. So first of all, this is how Dinesh D'Felon, this lying little grifter piece of garbage, is portraying it. First of all, Conservative Brief is his own website, and even his own fans, people who believe Dinesh, are so sick and tired of him clickbaiting on Twitter and just basically getting people to go over to Conservative Brief, which is riddled with ads. Some people are almost like it is like virus level stuff going on that page. Instead of just saying it here on Twitter, he's driving engagement to his own website where he's going to get money from your clicks because of all the ads on the page. People said that the pages over there are basically unreadable. So he either links to DC Inquirer or Conservative Brief, and Conservative Brief is his own website, his own media entity. So this is very much on purpose. Fani Willis told to recuse herself on the Trump case or face jail. That is not the truth, and that has not been said by anybody with authority nor anybody with the power to make this happen against Fani Willis. Excuse me if I've been saying Fani Willis. The reality is that comment came from Harrison Floyd. Floyd is one of Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia case against Trump, along with this total whack job, Trevian Kutti, Harrison, Trevian. These people were all kind of involved in that pressuring of Ruby Freeman to say, like, talk about the quote-unquote truth of the ginger mints and all that stuff, and they faked their way into saying, we can help you. It was an attempted catch and release and burial of the story so Rudy could continue to sit there and say, they were passing a USB drive around and they were hacking the votes and ballots and everything. Harrison Floyd has no power in which to do any of the things against Fani that he's claiming. He's basically said, you need to recuse yourself now or I will pursue like all legal avenues to get you thrown off the case and whatever. That's what he said, but Dinesh is trying to spin it as being something heavier than it really is, as if somebody above Fani or somebody with the power to directly change Fani's course of action is the one saying these things. It's not. It's this dude who is currently on trial. So this is basically a defendant making threats. It is absolutely crazy. I believe this is his Twitter here. Okay, I believe we have the evidence that demonstrates a coordinated effort to cover up the election fraud. Of course he's saying that. That's the reason why he's on trial. Yeah, these things. There is something recently where he has stated that, she needs to recuse herself. Otherwise, there's going to be basically hell to pay. He just keeps defending himself over here, saying, Fani didn't have the authority to investigate. He talks with Beezy Tweets, who is a complete garbage account. Here he is backing up Clarence Thomas, and we all know at this point that Anita Hill was 100% right in that. But yeah, Harrison Floyd is the source of this thing that Dinesh is keying off of, and this is not true. It's all overhyped clickbait, and then if you were to go to this link, I'm sure he actually quotes him as if Harrison Floyd could do anything about it. But yeah, this is the type of twisting that you see with rightoid propaganda. And if somebody doesn't want to go to conservative brief, they're going to believe that Fani is maybe right on the doorstep of getting kicked out of the case, and then Trump will be innocent or a mistrial. This is all dangerous stuff. The Ashley Biden story is dangerous stuff. The continued belief in Jesse Morgan's story when it has already ended. Jesse Morgan's story has ended. A major investigation went into this, and the dude was lying and is a whack job. Total whack job. Already been tackled, and they're recycling it again. And it's not just one account, because it may start with one, but then people like Proud Army Maggot over here take it and spin it to their followers, and it gets reposted and spun, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and that's what's happening. Don't get caught up with this. Do your own research. Before this major spin with Jesse today, a couple months back, there were people on Jeff Ilios' page still talking about Jesse Morgan, and I had to debunk that every single time. This one lady kept saying Jesse Morgan's story and I was like, here's the court documents. Here's the court documents. It's like, no, it never went to court. I was like, yes, it did. And she kept, for like a week, she kept bringing it up, and I kept throwing that at her every time until she finally gave up. Probably because she realized, I'm not. I don't have the facts right on this one. The political napalm is got it. So yeah, this stuff is dangerous. I mean, that's just stupidity. Oh, and Lauren Boebert apparently got cut off at a Republican event because she was so drunk that she got refused to be continued to be served and everything. So be careful out there, guys and gals. Stay safe, stay sane, do your research, dig into these things, and don't just simply believe them because somebody says so. The political napalm is out.